Hi guys, what is going on? So in today's video, we're going to be taking you through the current, what I believe the current Necromancer Challenge Rift build should look like. It's what I personally use and I find it an absolute blast. It reminds me a lot of running the old D3 Greater Rifts and how you have to run with those. But you're going to need two builds and we're going to take you through both of them and kind of what you need. And then I'm going to demonstrate how the build works and give you the reasons why the build works. The first build we're going to go over is the main build for pushing through the actual rift. Now, skill wise, you're going to want to take Bone Spirits, Grim Scythe, Corpse Lance, Corpse Explosion, and Bone Spear or Soulfire. Either one of these two will be absolutely fine, no problems there at all. The gear you're going to want to take is going to be Studied Menace, which is here. We're going to be taking Adjudicator's Cage, which is going to be for Bone Spirit increase in damage to feared enemies. We'll go into why in a second. Tremulous Boil. Now this one is for Corpse Explosion to now detonate the fear of targeted enemies. So you can see where we're going with this. We've got Fear on here, which is going to actually say increases the damage to feared enemies. This one explodes the fear on enemies. And then we're going to go Raving Silence, which kind of dot resolves all the dots that are on enemies. We've got Defiling Swarm, which provides us with loads of corpses and also applying the dots. We've got Departed Appetite, which is going to apply another dot, which is going to be from our Studied Menace because this Corpse Lance spins around us. Then the next important thing we've got is Communal Rib. This Communal Rib has got a chance to apply fear, a 20% chance to apply fear onto enemies lasting for 2.4 seconds. Now, because of the way we play this build, this is going to be applied quite a lot, even though it states once every 4 seconds on each target. Because it's going to be so many enemies in one clump, you're going to be seeing this go off anyway, and it's going to do tons of damage to everyone. Then the last one we're going to be using is Death's Egress, which is going to be for the spinning Bone Spirits that spin around you as the giant skulls. Green set items are standard. We're using 2-piece Vifus, and we're using 4-piece Agments, and then we're using 2-piece Barons. All kind of work well together and kind of set us up ready for getting into our legendary gems, which currently are what I'm using is Bold Hope. It gives me a damage increase, it gives me a movement speed increase, and it gives me a skill cooldown. Spectre Glass is really good for AoE content because although these mobs have got a higher amount of health and this may not apply as much as it could, it's still going to give us an armor break and it's still going to give us a 28% increase in damage and a crit hit chance increase against them for 6 seconds. Then we're going to be using Mother's Lament, again crit hit chance increase. We're going to be using Colossal's Engine. This is going to give us a 34% increase in skill damage. It's going to increase our size and our range of our attacks. Blood Flow is going to increase our crit hit damage and it's going to increase our damage done as well as apply a bleed to the targets. Roiling Consequences is going to increase our crit hit chance. Then we're going to be using in here BSJ, Bloodsoaked Jade, because this is going to give us an increase in damage and movement speed. And then we're using the Pain class because again this gives an increase in damage against enemies suffering with continually damaging effects, which these enemies are going to have dots on them because we've got our Roiling Consequences and we've got our Studied Menace. Now guys, the other thing I want to talk about is Paragon. This one is fairly important. You can use Slinger here, and I've used this many times when it comes to this sort of build. So we've got Unseen Dynamism, we've got Bloodthirst, we've got Gifted, we've got Superiority, and then we've got Fury along tied in with our Death's Release for the legendary. Or you can go Slayer here, and I actually have used this in my 580 that I just done. And I've got Deterioration, then we've got Rupture, we've got Contagion, we've got Hope, and then we've got Safeguard along with Death's Egress as well, Death's Release as well. So you could swap the Death's Release maybe for Curse of Weakness to give you a bit more defensive. That would also work. When it comes to the Warband room, you could be risky and you could jump in and do full attacker, but I would always go protector to give you that little bit more size, movement speed, and protection against damage. Familiars, these are very important that we need to talk about. You really want to have one that's got both Savior for this because Savior is really good, but then you also want it to have Lingering Wounds. And I'm quite fortunate I've got both on here. Not the best Lingering Wounds, I know, but I do have it and it does give me an increase in damage. But the main one you're really going to want is the fact that you've got Remote Armory. So you can actually change your build while you're in the actual rift. You don't need to leave the rift to change your build. You can do it while you're in there. So this is the most important part, really, of the whole setup. Without this, the setup is yeah, very you just can't do it. You just can't do it. You can't push very well. Now the other build we're going to be using in here then, guys, is when we come to the boss, you're going to want to switch to this build. The raid build is what I would say, and this is a standard raid build. And in this build, you're going to be using, again, the same green setup. But here you're going to be using Studied Menace, which is exactly the same. You use an Unfilled Grave for an increase in damage. We're using Executive Discontent. We're using Raving Silence. We're using Death's Disseminates, Departed Appetite. Here we're using Brightmoor, and we're using the Mages. Now, this is simply because this is more focused on single target, so you can really aim in on that boss, depending on what the boss is, and hopefully get him down before the timer, because the whole idea of the whole setup is AoE everything down when you're getting towards the boss, and you want to be able to do that in a very short period of time, so you've got the longest amount of time to beat the boss, because these bosses can be tremendously difficult. Very, very difficult to do. They've got AoE damage, they've got sudden like just spikes of damage, and some of them are just impossible. I think the likes of Summoner, the likes of Sand Shaper, and a few of the others are they just leave instantly, because they're just not really feasible in doing in a high rift. Now, Reforges is another one I just want to take you through, because Reforges work just the same as they do in any PvE content. You want to be doing this sort of setup. Critical hit damage, if you haven't quite yet hit the maximum of 120%, keep it on here. If not, switch that out. But definitely you have this sort of setup, so you get this increase in damage here when you use a primary attack, because every now and again you may see me cast and get that sudden increase in damage, which is all damage after you cast your primary attack. It's a 2% chance, which is fairly high once you've got it on all pieces of gear. So you'll see me using that when I'm in a pack and I've got control of that pack. I'll cast it and then I'll just dart in, and I will actually do an incredible amount of damage. But guys, I think that covers everything we needed to cover when it comes to both builds. I don't think there's anything else we need to go over. We've done the Paragons, we've done the Gems, we've done the Reforges, we've done the gear on both builds. So I think now we really should show you how the build actually runs, right? And give you a kind of a demonstration to how you would want to use this type of build. For people that maybe haven't watched the streams, or haven't maybe played Diablo 3 before, because it's very similar on how we used to do our greater rifts there. So let's jump in on a 578. Now, this is going to be very dependent on 1, the map, 2, the mobs, and 3, the boss. So if we get a good map, we get good mobs. We still may be able to do the boss depending on what it is. But if we get a bad map, bad mobs, then it might be virtually impossible, because some of these mobs, they instantly cast them at you as soon as you respawn if you die, and then you just die repeatedly over and over again and then run out of timer anyway. So it really depends on that. It's really like RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG. And as you get to farming these at a really high level, you'll find that you have to leave the map until you get that perfect spawn. But this map's not too bad. We'll go in, we're going to cast our skulls, we're going to start fearing enemies. They do have spears, so you're going to have to watch out for the spears. There's one blue pack, so we're going to be wanting to find the next blue pack if there is one. Is there one? There's not. So we're going to have to take these white mobs up to this blue pack, and we're going to want to AoE these down together. So bring these in. Bring these in, group them up. You can see plenty of damage. Now they're coming up here. We're going to cast, and then we're going to damage. They did kill me, but it's not a problem. But we got the blue pack down. And then they're going to kill me again. Still not a problem, though, because look at the timer. We're still good. Plenty of time. Now we find the next blue pack. Trying to avoid their spears. This mob type isn't the best. There's a blue pack. Oh, here's another blue pack. Can we get a third blue pack? Would be nice if we had 3. There is one, but it's over that bridge. So can we kite these down? These spears, guys. We need to get out of the way of those. Again, spears. Look at that. The spears aren't very friendly. We may have to do this in a two pull. We may have to use this little area here to our advantage and just do like maybe a figure of 8. Watching out for that. We won't stop and cast anything this time, but we will just down them like so and get both of them done, completed. Nice. So although we've had a couple of deaths, you can see, look at that spear, instant death. 22 seconds already on that, which is awful. And then we're down again because they cast on me. We need to get this fear up. Nice, we got the fear up now. We can probably roll this. Nice. They got me with a spear. You can see how easily these spears start hitting you over time, right? And again, look. But it's just because of the mob type here, guys. This doesn't mean that the difficulty is impossible. It's just the mob type is impossible. It's the mob type is very difficult mob type because they throw them spears which do one-shot you if you don't keep control of the mobs. So packing them up like this together is how you defeat that, because then you control them. Right, we've got a boss spawn. We're going to want to go down here. We're going to want to change the build to a raid build. Like we said, single target. Because we've got that remote armory, we can do it. We're going to want to try, and if we had a potion, we would heal up, but we're not. We're going to want to go up here. Oh, it's Sand Shaper. This could go really badly. This is a boss you do not want. You do not want, because he casts there and you instantly die. Instant death. So we're not going to be able to complete that one. Now this map is a map that isn't that great, and the mob types have got spears. So we'll have to see where this one goes. If we get a good number of blue packs, we still may be alright. One blue pack. We've got a yellow pack here, which we may be able to get down in the mix of things. That blue pack is following us. We've got this blue pack here. They've stunned me. We need to move. We haven't got another blue pack here, but have we got a blue pack here? No, we've got 2 yellow packs. So we may have to just utilize the yellow packs, even though we want to be a blue pack hunter and not a yellow pack hunter. Let's make sure we got all these mobs. No, we got one more over here and one here. Let's bring them. Okay, okay. Okay, I think we got them all. And then you just work around the outside like this, guys. And press on your corpse explosion, because that will do tons of damage. And we might even get this yellow one down. Even though we're not a yellow hunter, we normally just like to hunt the blues, because the blues are easy to kill. As you can tell. But we got it. Okay, good. Look at that timer. We're going to forget this yellow mob and that yellow mob. Too much health. We want to go after the blues, so let's keep hunting. Okay, there's one. Can we get another on the corner? No. There's a yellow. Why so many yellows in this rift? There's a blue pack. Can we get another one? We can. Let's bring it down here. How about another? No. Okay. That's acceptable. Because now what we can do is we can just bring these together. And although it's on this awkward corner, we can just skirt around the outside here and stay away from the damage. Do a little bit of a solo cast there. They're down. And they're done. And we've got a boss spawn. We know where the boss will spawn on this one, so we've got a chance to go like this and switch out to our raid build. Let's hope for a good boss. If we get a good boss, this will be a breeze. So we're going to want to spawn our mages. Okay, we need a bit of space. This one's doable. This one with this space here would be okay. We're going to go down here. We've got to stay away from his attacks. Then he'll do an AoE. Stay behind him. Then watch out, because he's going to attack at the front. Then he's going to go to the side. Then he's going to go to the other side. Then he's going to do an AoE, which is summon as his mobs. And then he's going to repeat the same process. He will attack the front. He would attack the side. And he got me. I moved. I was expecting him to cast that somewhere else, like a scrub. But he's going to do his AoE again. And then he's going to do attack at the front. Attack at the side. Again, this is not the ideal place. This is such a small little area. You want a bigger area for this guy. But he's going to do the same again. And we're going to get him down any second now. And we completed it in 3 minutes and 53 seconds, guys. That is how you do it. That was nice. Although the map wasn't as great as it could have been because of this small little area here. You want a big open area, ideally, so you've got more space to maneuver around a boss if they've got AoE damage, especially if they're going to be someone like Sandshaper or the Summoner. And anyone that does slam do an AoE, because you want to be able to move away from that AoE. But guys, that is the build. That is the build. You want to group up mobs, focus on blue packs, then you want to be able to swirl them around to bring them into a clump. Then you want to get as many corpses in there as possible, and then you want to just detonate with your corpse explosion, get to the boss as quickly as you can, and then switch out to the raid build, and then absolutely annihilate that boss. Because you've got a massive amount of time at that end to hopefully get that boss done within, say, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. That'll get you a good place on the leaderboard, but it also doesn't really matter about that. You just want to get the actual rift completed. And that's how I was able to do my 580. The 580, I can't remember what the time was now because it's not registered. Oh, it has registered. 6 minutes 14, look. A 580, 6 minutes 14. But guys, that is it. If you've got any questions, any different builds that you want me to try out for challenge rifts, I'm happy to try that because I love doing these. I could do these all day long. They're an absolute blast. But guys, subscribe to the channel, like the video, join a Discord. There's plenty of people on the Discord that will help you out when it comes to your builds if you're struggling. But guys, we're going to be streaming on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday every single week from 9:30 UK time up until 12:30 UK time. But until we see you there, peace out, guys.